go. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning.
And welcome in, everybody, to the MHRT Podcast. On today's episode, we dig into the Aaron Rodgers drama, the Henry Ruggs release, the Broncos' new face of the franchise, the Broncos' new linebacker duo, and the Bolles and Callahan injuries. Now, make sure that you like, subscribe, share, comment, and turn on notifications so that you can get alerted anytime we go live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Also, tune in to all of our podcasts. Broncos Talk every Tuesday, 7654. The Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast every Friday at the exact same time, 7654. And the Neighborhood pregame show that airs before every Broncos game. How's it going, everybody? We back.
Where did we go?
I don't know, but we're back.
Oh, yeah, we're back. Yeah.
Let's see here. Dave Glassman jumped in already. Bummed the fine. Will take a snap for another team. Stoked with the compensation. Hashtag in Peyton we trust. Jay Bryan 7861. What's up, boys? That is a little bit too soon. EJ, what's up, Broncos country?
Hola.
Ronald Samples, what's up, Broncos country?
Hola.
Avatar says, what's up? Can't wait for the game.
Hola.
Travis Starbox, evening fellas, listening for sure. Just busy as can be at work. Denver Broncos for life. Yeah.
For life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
I'm going to assume that everyone has heard about this Aaron Rodgers drama with the vaccine, right? The COVID vaccine. So at the beginning of the year, he said that he was in fact vaccinated. Turns out he's not. And so now he said is
immunized. Clever. That was clever. Yeah, it was. I mean, are you vaccinated?
He said, yeah. He said, yeah.
I am immunized. Yeah.
So that's how.
And then he goes, but I don't pass judgment on my teammates that aren't. But that's the Packers. That's the Packers' problem. It'll be interesting. I'm
sure the Packers knew that he was not, which means the NFL, I'm assuming, knew he was not. So the question then is, did his teammates know that he was, or did his teammates get lied to and think that he was vaccinated? That's the big question.
I mean, it was interesting because it seemed like he didn't do anything wrong besides kind of like lie to the media until you realize he was in press conferences like inside, in which technically you're supposed to have a mask on if you were unvaccinated in inside premises. So that's where, and yeah, like how much of his team didn't know, or how many people had the wrong ideas, or either, but he was still being treated as if he was unvaccinated as far as like daily testing and stuff like that. But he, like, it was just very misleading the way. Yeah, it was just very misleading. Which is, I mean, is anybody really surprised? Like, Aaron Rodgers is a troll, dude. He loves to troll the media, and he does not care what other people think of him. And so this isn't surprising whatsoever to me.
See, I have a different take, Boggins. Not that he trolls, but I think that he hates criticism. So he didn't, I've been seeing people say, what about Kyrie? What about, Cam? And they're taking all this grief. And I mean, I do think that Rodgers is taking some serious heat over the last 24 hours, as he should. He lied, and quite honestly, I hope basically after Sunday's game, because I don't want any sort of further repercussions for the Packers that could affect their performance on Sunday. But I mean, they should be looking into it just as they did with the Broncos. The NFL should be poring over these tapes, and it should not be treated any differently than they did with us. It's interesting that Blake Bortles was pulled out off the golf course, literally, to essentially be the second string quarterback on Sunday night's game. But as this relates to Denver, I mean, man, Aaron would have been nice to to be going against a struggling Chiefs defense. And I mean, how nice would it be for the Chiefs to be 4-5 after 9 games? And that's not a foregone conclusion at this point for sure.
That would be interesting. Like, the 2 ownerless teams also. That would be like the 2 only ownerless teams, the ones that get in trouble.
And I was gonna say, like, it's not like the lying part doesn't really bother me. It's as long as he was following an unvaccinated player's rules for being in the facility, like, whatever, say what you want to the media, I don't care. But when he's on camera at a press conference, not doing what he's supposed to do as an unvaccinated player, that's when it's like, okay, what kind of punishment is coming down and how bad is it going to be? Like, because if obviously you can't really compare like the Denver Broncos Drew Lock situation with the Packers Aaron Rodgers situation, because Lock Rodgers, like, the whole big different thing. But
now we're having a quarterback controversy with Lock.
There has to be some sort of punishment somewhere for just the in the face, I don't care what the rules are during a press conference. Like, there's thousands and thousands of videos of him not wearing a mask at the press conference. So,
well, and every other unvaccinated Packer would meet the media over Zoom. So that's what the media members have been saying over the last little bit. But it's certainly a story to follow. And I mean, I for the life of me, I don't understand why a quarterback would be somebody that would be hesitant to doing something that gives the team such an advantage. I mean, he could potentially cost them a home field advantage. If they, because they're not only missing this game. I mean, he's eligible for his first test the following Saturday, and they're playing, I believe, in Seattle, right? They're not playing at Lambeau, right? So there's travel involved in that. So I mean, what's going to happen? That's really,
and you put yourself in like liability lines where if someone happens to get sick now, like maybe in the press or in the media, they just happen to get sick, they could absolutely come for Rodgers on it because he wasn't following protocol. And that is just something that you like, whether you agree with any of it or not, that's just the rules. And if you were a press member, man, what a day that would be for you if you could try to come after Aaron Rodgers for something because you got sick because he wasn't following protocols. And then that just goes into a whole NFL discipline where they're losing draft picks maybe. And it's just like the organization might be punished for this too. If they do a deeper investigation and they knew and did nothing about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not looking good for anybody wearing the green and yellow right now, especially for Rodgers and the front office. And right now it seems like they're all just trying to play damage control in my personal opinion. But, like Mike said at the beginning of the show, the NFL should go after them just like they went after the Broncos last season in terms of protocol and, following directions and whatnot. And I mean, at this point, it kind of sounds like they'll probably just fine Aaron Rodgers, but finding a guy that's a millionaire, it's, it's like a drop in the ocean to him, so I don't think that's going to really make him learn his lesson per se or change his mind to actually get vaccinated. But I guess any type of discipline from the league is better than none, right?
Yeah. So I will say Jordan Love has some serious his fan base has grown in the Rocky Mountain region and Denver Broncos country for sure, because we're all going to be rooting for him come Sunday night.
Mm-hmm. Well, although even if he does become a franchise quarterback, no one will like him in 20 years because that's the curse of being a Green Bay Packers quarterback. You're like good for like 20 years, and then towards the end, no one likes you. And then you come back later on and people like you again once you're inducted into their Ring of Fame.
Like Brett Favre.
Well, and that's one of the points that I heard on DNVR was, you've got 2 quarterbacks whose names have been huge in the Denver Broncos postseason plans or off-season plans, not postseason, Rodgers and Wilson. So with the decision that Rodgers made with the COVID vaccination and all that, does that change your thoughts on the Broncos going after Aaron Rodgers? Do you want him on the team? Do you not? Does it not change your mind? Does it matter? Because I mean, one of the things they said was like, if the teammates didn't know and were lied to, that's a problem. But if everybody knew and he was just lying because it's the media, then does it really matter that much?
I can't see a situation where the teammates did not know. But that said, I've kind of moved off Aaron a bit, and I've been a fan of his for forever. Russell is my play for next year.
Yeah, I'd say Russell is definitely my play too, and hope, but I haven't moved off Aaron completely. I don't think he has like a lot of. I was gonna say time left, but I'm not saying that. Oh my God. Like, I don't think he has many years left in the tank in general, and he does come with
football
a slight. I never wanted to admit before, but he does kind of give off this a bit of a diva attitude, and it. But I have also never really heard any problems as far as like locker room issues with Aaron Rodgers. Like, Aaron is very player oriented. He could not care about the higher ups or. Like, he's more of like F the man style, you know what I mean? And that's what so like, as long as he's winning games, I wouldn't mind it. But I mean, Russ would be my primo pick for sure.
When Boggin says higher ups, he means his parents. That was cool. That wasn't nice.
Wow.
Fiance's parents.
Zasty Glenn is back, folks.
So moving on, we have some big news in the AFC West. Henry Ruggs has been released from the Raiders. I didn't see him getting released that fast, and then all the details started coming out, and it was like, oh, okay, never mind. Yeah.
But you got to know that that team is in there quick as far as getting information exactly what's going on, and I'm sure they knew, and they're like, there's no reason to continue with this, because what's a class 2 felony in Vegas, and so he's going to be gone at least 2 years. Unless he gets some celebrity deal or whatnot where he is, which I don't see how that happens. It's a bummer for everyone involved. Like, you can talk as much crap as you want about him, but like, this kid's life is over, as well as that young girl that passed away. So it's like, just have all families in your hopes and prayers, man, because that's just a bummer situation with a young kid making the biggest mistake of his life. And there's a lot of lives that have ended because of this. So it's sad for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if he's going to play football again. We don't know what.
No way, Mike. Not a chance.
Well, we don't know what the punishment is going to be for it. I would assume that he won't.
He was going 156 miles an hour when he hit the car,
and slowed down to 128.
No, it was that was when the airbags deployed. It was 127. And then you see the burning car, and you know that there's the young woman, 23 years old with her dog, and burned alive. I mean, she was still alive after that impact, which is unreal. That all three of the adults survived the impact. It's just a sickening situation. Marcus said it perfectly. I mean,
thoughts and prayers goes out to everybody in that situation.
Absolutely.
As much as we don't want the Raiders to be any good at anything, we never want that.
That's more than football.
That goes beyond football. So, so let's go with the Von Miller trade to the Rams, which still hurts.
Wait, what?
No, I'm not reliving that. Don't do that. With the Von Miller trade to the Rams, obviously with Von Miller having been on the team for the last 11 seasons, 12. He was basically the face of the franchise.
Oh, no doubt.
Basically,
so with him, well, you still had Elway. Within those 11 years, we had Manning. But yeah, without Von Miller on the team, is there an actual face of the franchise?
Simmons.
Because I know Simmons, his name has been thrown around, but Can Simmons fill the Von Miller role? I guess is the question. Like
edge, no,
it's two different levels.
He's too small.
That's exactly what I meant.
Too small,
and he can't tackle, right?
His length, yeah.
I mean, in terms of being the franchise, it's really big shoes to fill. I mean, I honestly don't see anybody coming in and trying to be like Von, and that's not really what being the next franchise really should be about in terms of trying to be like Von. I think
seeing Von in a Rams jersey feels like seeing my ex with another dude.
If Simmons does end up being the franchise, and I really do believe he is, he needs to be the guy that when this team is down, when morale is down, when things are not going the Broncos' way, he needs to be the guy to kind of, huddle up the masses and just try to keep everything as positive as possible. Now, obviously, with Von, we had high expectations for him, but it's not his fault because what happened in terms of regression, that happens to every single edge rush in terms of age. Not saying that Von Miller is getting older or anything, but a lot of people were expecting to see the 2015 Von Miller every single time he stepped out on the field. So with that being said, it really sucks. It hurts seeing him in another jersey and in another city and training with a different team and all that. But we just have to be happy that the man is out there, doing what he loves to do, because there have been other football players that didn't get that luxury. Some of them had their careers ended early before they wanted to, and they have to sit and watch the game from the sidelines. And, hopefully one day he does get to come back and play a snap or two more with Denver before he hangs.
Like this summer?
Yeah, like this summer.
So that was the whole plan, wasn't it? Trade him, get a second, a third, and then re-sign him in the summer.
See, my problem though is I think that there's a difference between a face of a franchise and you're the team leader. Like you look at like OBJ. OBJ was like, to me, was the face of the Giants, right? He was what you thought of when you looked at the Giants when he was playing for the Giants. Now you could have said it was Eli Manning, but when OBJ was playing with them, like Eli Manning was blah. Now when you have a player that isn't in like the top 2 or 3 like highest valued positions, that is the face of your franchise, I feel like you have a problem somewhere else. Because if Justin Simmons is the face of our franchise and he's a safety, the team has a problem. And you like, who's the last safety that was the face of the franchise? And if you're gonna say Ed Reed, remember that Ray Lewis was also there, and they had twice they had.
He was the mugshot of the franchise.
Yeah, nice. They had the best defenses of all time, right? So that, take it or leave it. However, majority of these faces of the franchise are going to be a quarterback or like a Myles Garrett, a Patrick Mahomes, TJ Watt, JJ Watt. You know what I mean? Like that's when the teams are at least a little more competitive. I feel like when you have these players that really, really make an impact on the game. So that's why that kind of worries me if Justin Simmons is our franchise or our face of the franchise. I completely buy into him as the leader, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job because he's pretty much like presidential already. So I think he'll do great there. And I did post earlier on Twitter how, if you guys noticed that last interception against the Redskins, something that was very uncharacteristic of Justin Simmons is he like flaunted and taunted on his way out of bounds with that pick to where that like that's not usually Justin, right? But it was almost like I saw a still frame of it, and he was literally looking towards the Broncos sideline, like with the ball in the air, almost like this isn't over
Bobby
yet,
Boucher,
you know what I mean?
Mama, I got it.
Yeah. But it was like it just felt like such a leadership moment to me, where he was showing his team like, this is what you need to give. This is what, like, our season isn't over yet. Like, let's keep pushing. And this is before obviously the news of Vaughn. So but I think it's definitely going to is Justin Simmons, and I'm excited to see him really get boosted up to that role as far as the leader of the team.
What's great about Simmons is he doesn't have to change anything that he's doing. He's already just so classy off the field. He's the way he carries himself. I mean, Marcus said it, Verbogen said it, that, presidential. The guy he's a leader in the community. He's a leader socially. And better yet, he's one of the best people at his position in the entire NFL. So it is telling, and Avatar mentioned Brian Dawkins with the Eagles, and that's a good one. But it is telling that the quarterback usually is the
McNabb in that time.
Yeah.
Well, I was even going to say John Lynch, but I mean, then you had Simeon Rice, you had Warren Sapp, you had
John.
So
I would say McNabb either as well, but Dawkins wasn't throwing up in the huddle. But anyway. I've got a little edge to myself.
I mean, is there even anyone on the roster right now that could potentially be that face of the franchise? I mean, like
Sutton.
Judy, but not yet.
They're too young. There's a lot of young guys.
Too
Like,
young.
there's a lot of guys that possibly could be,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think there's anyone that could take that as of now, other than Simmons.
One thing that the Broncos have done in recent years is they were very focused on high character guys, captains of their college team, players that they didn't want to have to worry about off the field. And I think they've done a good job. So even with this young nucleus, we do have some up and coming leaders that are stepping up. So,
yeah.
Well,
I mean, if I have to say one thing, like I totally understand, and I don't mean to cut you off, boss, but I totally understand. I totally understand why George Payton did what he did. But at the same time, going forward or going in front of Broncos country in the media and saying that they haven't given up on this season, it really kind of doesn't make any sense when you give up the face of the franchise. If it had been any other Bronco, aside maybe Cortland Sutton or maybe Justin Simmons, we probably would have been mad or sad for like a day, and then we would have went over it. But he had to have known that when the word got out that Von Miller, the guy, the man that was drafted number 2 in 2011, that won us the Super Bowl, that is literally just Mr. Bronco himself, if they ever made that title, was going to get traded away. There was no way that he wasn't expecting any blowback about all this happening. And the fact that he kept the coaching staff, that he kept Pat Shurmur and Tom McMahon and even Vic Fangio still in coaching, and I mean, it just boggles the mind. And if the Broncos don't play any better going forward, I'm curious to see who's going to, jump and fall on that sword. Is it going to be Fangio? Is it going to be Shurmur? Is it going to be Payton? Or
McManus?
Or McMahon?
It's going to look like a shish kebab. They're all going to be on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
I mean,
one of the things that Seegers was talking about when we had the Von Miller podcast was that with the trade of Von Miller, free agents or people that are looking to get traded to Denver wouldn't want to get traded here anymore because the team doesn't look appealing. And I don't get that. Why would trading Von make the team less appealing for other people? See, the dog's got an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He hurts him.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, we have the 8th youngest offense in the league. Like, I don't. What does trading Von Miller have to do with bringing in a franchise quarterback? I don't get that.
No, trading Von Miller actually helps us get that franchise quarterback because, I mean, listen, I love Von. I'm going to miss him. Von ended up in a very good place. We're going to be able to see Von just about every weekend because they're going to be playing Rams games a lot. And we ended up with a 2 and a 3 for a 32-year-old edge rusher who's been coming off a major injury last year and who's been injured already this year. I mean, that is an incredible haul to add to the other moves that he's made. I mean, to trade Kerry Vincent Jr., a 7th-round pick, who hasn't set foot on the field for a 6th-round pick. I mean, I know it sounds minuscule in terms of 7 for a 6, but I mean, these are the types of thoughtful moves that Payton is making. I don't believe that they've given up on this season. We're a game behind first place spot. I mean, we're playing 2 against the Chargers, 2 against the Chiefs, and 1 against the Raiders. So 5 out of our remaining 9 games are our division. We have a very good opportunity if these guys can buckle down and really make things happen.
And if we'd let Von walk in free agency, we would have gotten potentially a 4th, right? Or
end of the 5th, Mike, best.
End of the 5th? Because I know that they were saying, like, if we had let Von Miller walk without him being traded, we would have had 2 picks in the top 100. Now we have 4 because we didn't
5.
wait. 5. Do we have 2? How many 2s we got?
We got a 2 for Vaughn in our own, and we got a 3 for Vaughn in our own. And the compensatory pick for Miller would have been in the 2023 draft. So, like, we would still have to wait till the end we'd have to wait another season for the end of the 5th round at best.
Right.
I mean, it's really
we
incredible.
have 4 picks in the top 100. 1 in the first,
5.
2 in the second,
5.
1 in the third, right?
2 in the third.
And the first.
We got the second and the third from the Rams.
Well, but it depends on how well the Rams play, though.
No, it doesn't. We have the Rams pick in the second and the third, no matter what.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which third round pick for them, we don't know. They had a compensatory and a regular standard pick.
1 plus 2 is 3, plus another 2 is 5.
We went to my kids'
PEMDAS.
Like,
remember PEMDAS.
Have you done the finger thing for math? I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's
like,
how I count.
9
using
to
the
9.
Yeah.
Do this. I'm like, no, that would have made everything so much easier.
Mike only has 4 toes, so it made it really hard to count.
I have to double count my toes.
You have to count corn cobs because that's all there is in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
How's the Canadian guy making fun of me? Let's see here. Somebody was talking about was it 31 contracts that expire in the offseason? 30 plus. Jay Bryan, biggest problem to me are the 30 plus expiring contracts. So you kind of wonder, like, was the Von Miller trade in order to go after a franchise quarterback in a trade, or is it to try to replace as many people as we can that have expiring contracts? Like, how many are we actually going to get re-signed?
I think it's flexibility, Mike.
Like, for example, we have Baron Browning and we have Kenny Young, who I thought played really well in the last game. So if they continue to play at that level, do we even worry about Alexander Johnson and Josie Jewell?
Yeah.
Or do we keep the 2 that we have and try to re-sign them?
No.
That's a good question.
I would definitely try. I would try and like either them or another free agent. Either way, they're gonna. I think Alexander Johnson's gonna get picked up pretty quick if we let them. But I would also like depth. Like, I'm not too impressed with Sternad so far. So, and I wouldn't.
So if you had to pick between the 2, would it be Johnson or would it be Jewell? Yeah.
That's a tough one. I always thought Jewell, and then once Jewell was out, Johnson really showed his value. So it was like, that's a tough one.
And from what Peyton has shown is that nobody's job is safe. It doesn't matter how long you've been here, if you're a franchise player or not. If he feels you're expendable, you're out the door. So, I mean, we could sit here and guess and play all day, but at the end of the day, all of us could be wrong. And then, he'd end up, in order to save money, he'd trade somebody for draft picks or cut them completely. I mean, who knows? But at this point, Kenny Young, he's really good, but he almost is starting to feel like, just a rental kind of guy. Now, if he does get a contract with Denver, it'd be great because so far his play against Washington was really good. So I wouldn't be opposed if Payton decided to move on from either Johnson or Honey Bear, but I don't see that happening. And if he does, then that's the way it is.
Jay Bryan, if you look at the players on the contract, most of them have huge upside and have big roles now. Yeah, most of our roster is pretty young. So the one like Patrick Sutton, those I hope we can sign both.
Who's Patrick Sutton?
Betting we only Patrick or Sutton. Shut up.
That's Mike's insurance. It's Mike's insurance agent.
Yeah,
insurance agent.
Sounds like a law firm. Patrick and Sutton.
I'm going to
like
assume
a good neighbor.
Patrick Sutton's there. I'm going to assume we're only going to re-sign one. I hope we sign both, but again, Patrick and Sutton are basically the same receiver, like skill type wise.
Skill type, sure.
Yeah, skill type wise.
That's going to be the question. I definitely think that Sutton is who you put your money on. But Patrick has definitely shown a lot of potential. But Patrick reminds me a lot of like a Mohamed Sanu or something. Like he's a great above average receiver. But I think Sutton, as soon as he is like fully healthy, has the potential to be like a star. So I would definitely put your money in Cortland Sutton. But I would love to, if we could get Patrick back somehow. We're going to have a lot of money going into he's going to have a lot of draft picks. So buckle up, everybody. It's going to be a fun one, hopefully. Unless Peyton decides to just like, put his money in
fire
something
sale,
like in CDs or something, because
let's give Flacco
super patient.
You know what? Compact discs. You know what's? Let's examine our draft from this year and the players that we got. I mean, Surtain, Javonte, Browning. We got Cooper that's contributing. I mean, we're still waiting on Jamar Johnson. We got Caden Stearns. He really has hit it. And I know I've left out a couple guys too. I mean, he's Miners should be making an impact. Probably next year. I mean, talk about building through the draft. My goodness. I mean, you could have, essentially, an eighth of the roster filled up with guys just from this draft. I mean, that's fantastic. With those contracts and all that money, my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, but doesn't it strike you kind of weird that if George Paton was going to end up trading Von Miller, doesn't it seem weird? Then why did he give him an extension for one more year? I mean, if Von Miller's play would have suffered in September, I know it's 2 different times, but when I was thinking about it, like if Von September would have sucked where he struggled or he didn't play very well, like, okay, I get that. Then he showed regression, but he was the AFC Defensive Player of the Month for that month. And granted, his October wasn't the best, but I don't see why, I
mean, the trade was a brilliant trade. I mean,
it was a brilliant trade.
If we get past the sentimentality of it all, it is. What we didn't trade Clinton Portis or Champ Bailey in a second for Clinton Portis. I mean, like, we got
what extension exactly are we talking about?
Or not extension. Or didn't they sign Von Miller to like one more year?
He still had one.
Yeah, that's
they picked up the option. Yeah, they asked him to take less money. He said no, and they picked it up for what it was originally.
I didn't mean extension.
But I mean,
I'm sorry.
Like doing that at the beginning of the season makes sense.
Yeah,
you're hoping you're going to get like the old Von, right?
Albrecht had that the only offer they got was one third round. Besides, when
the Rams offer,
the Rams came in with the second and a third. And when you're considering that you would only gotten a 5th compensatory pick after Von apparently didn't, so they're going to come back after the free agency, then shoot, this is a great move.
So Rams GM Les Snead was on Rich Eisen's show yesterday, and he said a couple things that were interesting.
Did you see his mug?
Oh yeah, I did see the mug. Yeah.
What? What does his mug say?
We can't really say.
Yeah.
It says F the picks because they get rid of it. They don't care about the.
Yeah, they don't have any.
Yeah.
His kids gave him that mug, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple things. One, he said that he was already going to be negotiating within the next 72 hours. He's already indicated that he wants Von to continue on past this year and is not going to wait to the end of the season, wants to start talking to him within the next 3 days. So that was interesting. Second thing was the reason why the Rams had to go so high with the picks and the reason why the negotiation took place is because the Rams didn't have the money to bring Von on under the salary cap. Mm-hmm. So when the Broncos converted it to bonus and absorbed most of say 90% of what Von was going to get paid, they had to then give a better pick to to make up for that. So that's how that ended up. It was all based on the fact that the Broncos were paying a huge portion of that salary.
Well, like during the offseason before the draft, people were freaking out. Like, no, we can't give up the draft picks. That's way too many draft picks for that. And then you look at the Rams and you're like, they don't have a first rounder for like 4 years. I don't think they have a second rounder for the next 3. Like,
they haven't had a first rounder, Mike, in 5 years. They said 5 years.
They're like, whatever. We're Super Bowl contenders. Who cares?
And they have Matthew Stafford. Can you imagine that guy throwing to our players?
We do what we want.
Yeah.
Seeing
Stafford this year just makes you realize
really
how
good.
silly it was.
And I totally get it. And if the shoe were on the other foot, I would totally expect Denver to do the same thing. You know, if it costs draft picks to go out and get a player like Von Miller from another team, and it gives your team a better chance to win a championship, then, you know, by all means, go for it. It's what Elway did in 2014, except he picked up DeMarcus Ware as a free agent. He didn't have to trade for him. So
he got all those guys as free agents.
Yeah, he got all those guys as free agents. He built that entire team. So if the Rams don't win the Super Bowl in case Denver doesn't make the playoffs, then it would be a damn shame.
I don't see how they're not the favorites right now, at least in the NFC. Like, that defense is terrifying.
It is. People are underestimating it.
You look at that defense and like think of the names, and you're like, holy crap, that's like just Aaron Donald and Von Miller alone is like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, the cards are up there too. The Cards definitely have their defense. So does Bucks. Everybody has their dual pass rushing combos.
Yeah, but I mean, Chandler Jones is good and everything, but it's just
Jalen Ramsey.
It's just Chandler Jones, and you can go Buda Baker. This is a really good safety. So
JJ Watt,
he's done for the season.
Isn't he? Yeah, he's out for the season, right?
Oh, did he finish?
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if he was coming back.
Yeah,
Okay.
he had shoulder surgery, right?
Yeah. I mean, even if he does come to the playoffs, I don't see the Cardinals putting him out there for like a full game.
So one of the things the Rams have been doing the last few games is they've been lining Donald and Floyd up on one side of the line. So it's completely unbalanced it from a defensive standpoint. So can you imagine if they continue with that strategy and bounce those two guys around, and you have Vaughn coming off the edge, and you have Jalen Ramsey covering the best receiver? That is going to be a fun defense to watch. There are going to be a lot of 3 and outs there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Aaron Donald is like a game wrecker in and of himself.
Yeah.
I mean,
So like you take him and you throw in like Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, and Jalen Ramsey. It's terrifying.
Yeah,
just those four.
Aaron Donald.
There are very few guards that can one man handle Aaron Donald and get away with it. So
Vita Vea is pretty high up there. So.
Yeah, Vita Vea is really good.
Yeah.
he pushed through that Dallas.
Why can't we trade for him? Let's trade for Vita Vea.
I just want to
run on. Put him in the middle. Run on us now. Come on.
Give me one UW.
I think that's. Yeah, I think that's. Mike, I think that's the guy you talk about most from any other team at this point. Like, you
Kenny
love
Young.
Vita Vea.
Kenny Young.
No, he's on our team. He's on our team.
He wasn't.
Well, not at first.
Well, so really the Von Miller trade stemmed from the discussions about Kenny Young, by the way. So they threw out, well, what about Von Miller? And Peyton's like, well, why don't we get this one done first, and then we can talk. And so there were more discussions starting on Friday, and then it was finalized on Sunday night.
I was going to say, in his press conference, Peyton said it was finalized Sunday night, right? They met with Von Monday morning.
Yep. Yeah. What did he say? He went to sleep 4-4 and he woke up 7-1.
7-1. I had to stop following Von's blog or vlog channel. I can't watch him in Rams uniform.
That's the only YouTube video I have.
Well, and then he did his first press conference and his 40 was falling off.
Yeah, his 0 was. That's how quick they made his jersey. The tape was wearing off.
I mean, it was like Annie Agar made his jersey, with the taped on number.
So that means we're going with Jonathan Cooper on one side, Malik Reed on the other side, and it sounds like Baron Browning, I was a big fan of Kenny Young, but Baron Browning impressed me more than anybody on that defense on Sunday. He played fantastic.
Yeah, his injury kind of scared me in the first quarter, but thankfully it wasn't anything serious. He was able to come back, especially since he was the one that was calling the plays out on the field. So, for his first game, it was pretty good. And this defense is going to really have a big test in front of them because, Dallas is obviously not Washington. Dak Prescott is slated to start, if I'm not mistaken. So
he is.
Yeah. So
no, he's not.
No, he is.
Not? Nope.
Voodoo. Yes, he is. Kareem Jackson said he was playing today.
Voodoo. He's not playing.
Are you serious?
Are you talking into his existence?
I'm talking it into existence. He's not playing.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, you're all out.
Take the day.
Trayvon Diggs, he's not playing either.
Boo.
Mike's gonna put some
it's gonna be like CD versus Judy.
Yeah, versus Judy.
No.
Mike's gonna put some quicksand in the bottom of the Salvation Army kettle there.
Now, did Judy not being targeted on Sunday? Did that much? Did that surprise anybody else? Like he got what, 3 targets?
4. He had 4 catches for 39.
Broncos media was blowing him up all week, and then that's what we get. So, people were wondering, was Bridgewater playing hurt? Was Jerry Jeudy playing safe? Was
everybody's playing hurt?
I mean,
the coaches just don't care.
Yeah.
If you're above 65%, you can play. You're healthy enough. It's okay.
Probably.
No.
Coming back from injuries, probably.
No.
Yeah. I mean, as we get closer to the end of the season, injuries, when they start rearing their head in, they become even more and more.
This keeps getting lower each week. 55
the time.
48.
5% healthy, you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're good.
It's all right.
We got weekend of Bernie's out there by week 17.
So let's kind of move into the Cowboys game. So we do have
Segway.
Garrett. Yeah, except you ruined it. We do have Garrett Bolles that is not going to play against the Cowboys. Wow. We also have Bryce Callahan that just went on IR he's 6 to 10 weeks he's out.
Yeah.
I haven't heard 10. I heard 8 on the outside, but we'll see.
So basically the rest of the season.
Pretty much. He could see week 18 action.
Yeah.
I can't believe that didn't require surgery when you saw that leg go backwards. My goodness.
Yeah, it was bad.
So I'm assuming we're going to see, I know it's saying Bassey's back, but I'm assuming that we're going to see Kyle Fuller again.
Yeah, they couldn't deal him, so might as well use him.
Can we hope that he's going to improve?
They were saying that there was him and Nate Hairston were splitting snaps. So which is like him and Kyle.
I mean,
Fuller.
I wouldn't say Hairston played bad.
How's Ojemudia coming on? Is he still injury?
He's expected to be back too.
Because I thought him and Bassey were.
I heard another week or two.
I thought him and Bassey were on the same path of coming back together. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Bassey is activated, but not Ojemudia.
He was, Bassey was in practice. He was practicing.
Duke Dawson is back.
Oh, yep. Okay.
And that's why I feel like the season's not over. I mean, we're getting guys back. So we're supposed to get Chubb back against the Eagles. I mean, that's the following week. So we just need some steady play and some points on the board from the offense.
Well, that's the thing that sucks is we are 4-4, but you look back at how Broncos country's been acting, and it's like we're 2-5, 2-6, 1-7. Like we're not that bad.
Didn't Peyton say, we're 4-4, but it feels like we're 1-7? Was it him that said that? Somebody, one of the.
It was either that or 2-6. I think it was him.
Yeah. I think it was him.
Yeah. And Noah Fant is out because he's on COVID. He's got COVID. Moody's out as well, and I think everybody else is just questionable, and we know what that means. Let's see. For the Cowboys, DeMarcus Lawrence is on injured reserve. Tyron Smith is doubtful. And then everyone else is just questionable. So like CeeDee Lamb, Cooper, they're questionable. And so is Prescott.
Like Purcell's going to play with a cast on his hand.
You're right. Bassey did practice, but Michael Giannetti is not practicing it.
Yeah, I think he's still another week or two away.
He could come back after the bye if they don't play him against the Eagles, which would be the safe bet.
I forgot what it was. Wasn't it like a elbow?
No, I think he tore up his knee in the same game that Dawson. Like they all tore up their knees.
Yeah, they both went down.
Upper body.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I was talking about Bassey. I'm sorry.
Dawson
sorry.
and Bassey both went down in that Carolina game.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I thought Ojemudia, Bassey, and Dawson all tore their ACLs.
No,
not Ojemudia. His was above the waist.
Mm.
Let me just double check.
Maybe his knees above the waist.
Ooh. He was doing a high leg kick.
Damn it, Glenn, you took my joke.
Looking at the stats for the Broncos and the Cowboys, it's not close. The Broncos offense scores about 20 points. The Cowboys score 32
on average.
Our defense only allows 17, and that's where you kind of question what's going to happen, because we're not exactly sure how the linebackers are going to look against a team that's not Washington. Obviously Washington's an NFL team, but they're not like the Cowboys, who's got the number one offense in the league. So do we hold the Cowboys to under 30 or do we not? Without Callahan, that kind of terrifies me a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know the Cowboys had the number one offense. I knew they were top 10. I didn't know they were number one. I guess it all depends. If the Cowboys put Dak Prescott out there and they feel he's 100% and he can actually play at 100%, then our Broncos defense. And it's not so much the defense I'm worried about. It's more about the offense. If your offense can't keep up with the opponent's offense, then that's been a problem for Denver for the last 5 years. You're going to wear out the defense no matter how good it can be, how much they've improved. You cannot keep the Broncos defense out that long and expect them to hold the team to a field goal or keep them from scoring a touchdown or, try to force the turnover because the Cowboys, aside from that Tampa game in week 1, they haven't been that prone to interceptions, at least Dak Prescott. So if you can't force them into making a mistake and they can still put up points before they punt the ball away, Denver's in a heap of trouble.
Yeah.
Just going back to Ojemudia, so it's a hamstring injury that originally it was actually at the game Boggins was at in Seattle. Originally thought to be ACL, but it was a hamstring. But he's been out the whole time.
That's right.
But I mean, what a relief! What a relief that Dak Prescott is going to be quarterback and not Cooper Rush. Thank God.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
no. After his performance last week,
I will say this though: Cooper Rush, coolest quarterback name. Cooper
Rush, Mike Smith, or Trevor Siemian. Who would you take? Who's the next Broncos quarterback? The starting quarterback.
Gardner Minshew.
We probably would have been better off with Minshew, but who knows?
I'm trying to.
I'm still behind Teddy.
Keep your fingers crossed for the offseason then, Glenn. It can happen.
It could happen. Well, and then it's the big question on, if we get completely gobsmacked this Sunday, are we expecting changes or are we still waiting? Yeah, I said gobsmacked.
Yeah, really, Boggins? You're not going to say nothing to him?
Nothing?
Bad language? Gobsmacked?
How's that bad language?
Language. I don't know.
Too late. You're playing favorites, dude.
Do we really expect changes after the Cowboys game if we get beat? I mean, you got to think that.
Well,
and this is what I told Glenn. The Cowboys are looking at the Broncos like we looked at the Jets. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to win that game.
Yeah.
They are supposed to win this game. But that makes an interesting point. This could be a trap game for the Cowboys. I don't see that happening.
No, I don't think so. If the Broncos lose this game, it'll just be, the Cowboys have a really good offense and they're playing really good football. But the following week, if they lose to the Eagles, that's a totally different story. Then I think that heads should roll for that game.
But if heads didn't roll, if Shermer didn't get fired after Cleveland, I don't see any changes being made the rest of the season, quite honestly, at this point.
Unless they drop like 30, unless it's like 31 to 10 or something, then maybe.
You don't even see a coordinator change? Hi, Don's dad. You don't even see like a coordinator change after the game. Like, again, I could see like changes happening at the bye, but you don't see changes happening at all.
What changes can be made?
Coordinator, quarterback, nothing.
I mean, the only change that could possibly happen for me the rest of the season would be quarterback. I mean, we're past the trade deadline, so we can't get rid of any players. But what are you saying? Not until the to the bye?
We'll bring you Boggins disaster after these messages.
After these messages from Comcast, from our internet provider.
From Icy Hot.
Mike, it is Daddy Diaz. Oh, sorry.
That's right. That is my old man.
Sorry.
Padre.
They're getting ready to go on vacation. From what? I don't know, but they're going on vacation.
Somewhere warmer. Somewhere warmer.
Let's see, Dave Glassman. I believe we hold them under 30 and cover the spread because of a garbage time touchdown. 24-17 Dallas.
Yeah, it's a 10-point spread. Broncos are 10-point underdogs. That is a huge number. Yeah.
Gosh, all of your guys' reception is so bad.
I know. All
three of our internet are just terrible.
I don't understand the over and under numbers. Just seeing all that gives me a headache. So I just like, okay, we're 10 and under. So I just usually go by somebody that knows about it. So if Glenn says it's bad, then it's bad.
So it means that. Never mind.
Yeah. Don't try to explain it to me.
Betting 101 on MHRT. That's what we're doing.
That's why I won't go to Vegas. I'll lose all my money.
Okay, so EJ says, Peyton, I took this job to work with Vic. Now, I will say this, and they said it on...
that might be a paraphrase, by the way, EJ. How dare you?
Yeah. How dare you? Obviously, the general manager is not going to say disparaging things about his coaches. Like, that's not a thing that general managers do. I would also say you have to look at the nuances as to what he was doing when he said it. Like,
crack cocaine.
Yeah, crack cocaine. Like, when he was saying it, was he kind of like moving back and forth? Was he looking somewhere else? Did his eyes roll? Like, I think it's just was his fingers crossed. Like, did he have sandals on and his toes are crossed? Like, those are the kind of things you got to look at. So, did he come to work with Vic? I'm sure that he likes Vic as a person. Does George Payton? I mean, do you actually think that George Payton doesn't realize that Fangio is not the correct coach and is going to be let go at the end of the season? Obviously, Peyton knows that, but he's not going to come out and say that.
Well, not to mention, Mike, is Vic played in a major role in Peyton getting the job. I mean, he was part of that committee that brought him on. So trash interwebs is what he said.
I'm sorry, Glenn. I didn't.
We've never seen you so close. Looking good.
Thanks, bro.
Boggins, what I was just saying is,
thanks, bro.
I feel like Peyton does have some loyalty towards Vic a little bit because Vic was involved in the hiring search, so he might not be so quick to get rid of him during the season. I think if he gives him a whole season, he'll be like, all right, my debt is paid. What do you think?
I agree. I don't see them making any crazy changes unless something is so blatantly obvious. Like, Peyton seemed pretty confident in 4-4, so I wouldn't be very surprised if we at least wait till if we lose every game going into the bye, then I think coordinator is definitely something that is going to be dealt with toot sweet. However, I think that end of the season is probably where we're looking at a majority of stuff. But if it was me, I'd be like, screw it at this point. Like, throw in Drew Lock, like put Zach Azzani at head coach, like just like stir it all up. You know what I mean? Just see, just like how the dice rolls.
Well, that's like I could see that happening after the bye. But like people are freaking out like 3 weeks ago, like why is Peyton's a terrible GM because he didn't fire Shermer? Please name for me another GM that has fired an offensive coordinator in the first 3-4 weeks of the season. And go.
John Elway.
No.
Yeah,
when did
Mike
Elway?
McCoy.
No,
but McCoy wasn't his. But it wasn't McCoy's first year, or it wasn't always first year as GM.
Oh, I misunderstood the question. Sorry.
Plus, it wasn't week 3-4. It was week like.
No, it was early on.
It was early on.
No, you know who? I think it was the Cardinals that fired him early on. Actually,
as a head coach.
I don't think.
No, he was the OC for the Cardinals, and they got rid of him early on.
Yeah,
I was thinking of the head coach. Yeah.
So it's just like, so far, while I don't like the fact that Vaughn is not on the Broncos anymore, I think Peyton's been making some great moves. I have no issues with anything Peyton's been doing so far.
I don't have an issue with it either, Mike. It just sucks that it had to be Vaughn, you know? So, but all you can do as a fan is just be happy for the guy. And I've been seeing people on social media talking about they're going to give up being Broncos fans just because Vaughn isn't on the team anymore.
We didn't want you in the first place, so go ahead and leave.
Yeah, just remember that we have to be fans for the name in the front, not the names in the back.
But Adon, these are the same people that if he didn't trade him, Vaughn leaves after it, and we get a fifth or sixth compensatory pick. They're like,
"How dare you not trade him?
What an idiot! Why didn't he trade him? We could have gone a fourth. Like he sucks. Like nothing would satisfy. I mean,
you can't please everybody, Glenn. You're right.
So let's go with final score predictions between the Broncos and the Cowboys.
So by the way, Mike McCoy was fired on October 19th, 2018 as the offensive coordinator of the Cardinals. So he did not last very long in his first season at that position.
That would have been like week 6
around there.
And he was replaced. He was replaced by one of Mike's faves, Byron Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich, who got wasn't he the head coach of the Cardinals for a season or something? Leftwich before Kingsbury?
No, he isn't.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of somebody else then. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
But score prediction, gonna say 27-24 Denver.
You were right last week, weren't you, Don? You said 17-10, didn't you?
17-10, yeah. Nice. I got it right.
I think Mike did too. I think they had identical.
I believe you, Don.
Mike rooted for Washington, so just like he rooted for Cleveland the game before.
No, I didn't. I picked Denver.
Why do you even host a Broncos show, Mike?
I picked Denver.
Mike's a bad person.
the only one I picked the Browns. That's the only one that I didn't pick Denver on.
And he was right by the way.
Yeah, so eat it. Yeah, Rich says I was right. I got the score right.
What score did I say?
Mike got the score.
You said 17-14, sir.
Coordinators.
I
know, but
I don't remember.
What score did I say that the coordinators would be fired after? 31-10?
Something like that.
I think I said 31-10. I'll say 31-10.
I hate to do it, but I'm going 24-14 Dallas.
Yeah.
I am going to
also pick Dallas.
Call this a trap game for the Cowboys and say it's going to be 24-21 Denver.
I hope you're right.
You're just saying it because we called you out and we know where you're
But you called me out for something I didn't do.
You picked Cleveland, dude. Come on.
I know.
That's what Boggins said, and you said I didn't do it.
No, he said the Washington game. 38-13 Jay Bryant, 35-24 Dallas. I'm not listening to you anymore. I'm not listening anymore.
Underwear that you're wearing right now.
Dallas.
I'm wearing what underwear?
Jerry Jones underwear.
If only you knew that I wasn't wearing any. 27-17 Landon.
Mike, remember with your underwear, the skinny part goes in the back.
Dang it.
And you wear it till
I forgot something. 24-14 Dallas, says Avatar. So yeah, There you go. 24-17 Cowboys win, unfortunately.
34.
Shut up. 34.
Don't be proud of the Cowboys win, guys. Even though you're predicting the Cowboys to win. Don't be proud that you were right.
Yeah, trash interwebs. That's what we're going with. I don't blame anybody for picking Dallas.
No, I don't blame them either, but I'm saying don't be proud that you were right. Feel sorry for the boys.
Yeah. No. I'm still putting out the juju that Prescott and Zeke and Cooper and CeeDee Lamb are not going to play.
Hey, Dak got inactive at the very last minute in Minnesota, so it can happen again.
Can we send some 7-Eleven sushi to the hotel?
7-Eleven sushi or the Michael Jordan pizza. That's what we do. Michael Jordan pizza to their hotel. That's what we're going to do.
Michael Jordan.
All right, that's going to do it for us. We're going to go ahead and watch the game on tonight. Who's playing? It's the Jets
Colts
and
Jets.
Colts and Jets.
Mike time, baby.
So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, and turn on notifications so that you can catch all of our content when it is posted. Also, make sure you're tuning in. Stop dancing! Also, make sure you're tuning in to Broncos Talk every Tuesday at 7654. Nothing Rhymes Orange and Blue podcast. So stop it on Friday at 7654. And the network's own pregame show, The Neighborhood, that airs before every Broncos game. You can catch them all on the audio versions. We have all of that. The links down below. And make sure you're giving us a good review and a good rating, because if you don't, I'll delete it and hate you forever. We love you all. We love Broncos country. Now we're going to do what everybody needs to do, and that's put your hands out to the side because we're going to do the Mile High Five. Everybody ready?
Do it.
Mile High Five! He turned his light off.
What?
Like getting more creative on ways to get out. Yeah, there we go. We got him to do it. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
He spends time during the week.
Hasta luego.
I think he does.